Hi doing guys, welcome back, it's LSP. It is the 25th of September 2021. Today we're going to be discussing Bitcoin and CHSB like we always do. Um, if you are not already subscribed to the channel, just do it. Come on, seriously, why wouldn't you? All you have to do is press subscribe and then forget about it. Done. You know what I mean? Don't even have to watch my videos, just subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up, help the channel along. With all of that said, let's get into the analysis of Bitcoin first. So, I mean, obviously drop, little bit of a pansy rally drop into all the levels we've indicated up to this point. So I'm going to have to go up to the weekly, which I'm still liking. I'm really liking the weekly. The monthly, weekly. We'll stick with the weekly. So the analysis hasn't really changed that much in terms of the last time we spoke about Bitcoin. There's obviously the usual FUD, FUDlets from China. I don't know, banning Bitcoin for the 50th time, 60th time. I don't even know what these people are playing at, to be fair. I find it really amusing. But, Bitcoin is not really doing much. The markets are very sluggish at the minute. We are coming up to the last week, or we are in the last week of September, going into the first week of October. We should start to see some volume pick up now, which I'm looking forward to because it's been a long time coming. In terms of lower time frame dailies and 4 hours, or lower than the weekly and then 4 hour, again, as it stands right now, this first initial push just here after this drop would have needed to come up all the way up here to completely rebalance, which it hasn't done. So there's a lot of stuff up here, but it's come down first, and we're seeing a fractal of the same thing effectively. So a drop, a little bit of a rally into it, drop, a little bit of a rally into it. This area right here, has become the inverse level at the minute. So this really needs to be rebalanced first, and then the reaction at that point will tell us whether or not it's going to continue to take out this and then rebalance higher. If not, in terms of low side, it's stabilized a little bit here. It is possible we see a little bit lower, maybe 40s, 39, something like that, within this area. Would make perfect sense, and still kind of keep that overall general sluggish, crappy nature of the crypto market, as of late. But dare I say, Bitcoin actually needs an injection of volatility, even though it's quite volatile anyway. The news that's coming out from China, with Evergrande and some of this Bitcoin nonsense and so on, isn't really affecting Bitcoin or the overall market as much as it normally did in the past. This doesn't mean that it won't. This doesn't mean that there isn't something out there that's just going to pound Bitcoin either down or up, or the volumes aren't going to come back into it, or people are going to be pulling out of Bitcoin and things like this. But we have to be mindful, obviously, that as it stands right now, because we're at a time of the year where things are just about to start, and historically this is just about to start ramping up a little bit more. It actually bodes well that Bitcoin's coming lower first before that injection of volatility and that volume comes back into the marketplace, because it will lend itself better to the upside than it would to the downside. If Bitcoin was rallying right now over the last couple of months and it was sitting at 58,000 to 60,000, for example, it's unlikely that we would see all-time highs again. And we'd probably get a drop as the volume starts to hit the market, profit takers and so on. So it's better that it does this now. And if you look at the weekly again, we're pulling back into a very strong area, and there's a lot of this shit to get through. If it wants to go lower, and I mean like really lower, past 28,000, it's got to get through all of this. Now my only concern in terms of the remainder of this year would be that if Bitcoin comes down and it just kind of hovers around this area and starts to break up all of this, that's a time thing. It's just going to take forever unless it just drops nastily, which there's nothing anybody can really do about that. But in terms of watching Bitcoin unfold over the remainder of the year, going into this area down here, or deeper into this area down here, this section of price action here, this price delivery here, effectively means more of this grindingness, this sluggishness, and then price runs a little bit to 40, drops to 38, then drops to 36, then runs to 39, and pretty much a lot of what we're getting right now. But it's in a tighter range, and it makes things really, really annoying. So I'd like to see, as it stands, this pull back, you know, maybe another week of crap, and then off we go, you know, and start to see some nice green candles. Not this progressive grinding up, efficient, just boom. Which is obviously what we all want to see, but I'm not thinking about money. I'm not thinking about trading or making money. I'm just thinking about Bitcoin, the overall market, and what do I want to see to give me the confidence that things are starting to move again, and then I can start paying attention to some of my positions. So that's Bitcoin as it stands at the minute. Not really much to report. So yeah, Swissborg CHSB. Obviously, I went through this during the Smart Talk Live. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I am part of the DAO. Me and a very good friend of mine, Ben, we host the Smart Talk over at Swissborg's Discord server. You'll find the link in the description below. We generally float around. Ben does a lot more than me, but I generally float around in the Wealth and Trading channel. We do a Smart Talk on Thursdays at 6:30 GMT. Everybody's welcome, you know, and we chat and we talk. And I do live analysis on CHSB, you know, in the moment. So again, everybody's welcome. So I was discussing this level down here, this daily level, which we've spoken about, you know, quite a few times throughout the time. I'd say the last 2-3 weeks, you know, every video is kind of being mentioned, you know, within this large weekly liquidity pool, and then we have this daily liquidity pool within that. Okay, and I was saying previously that if price continues to kind of not really do much, and that injection of volatility doesn't come into the market and push CHSB, you know, to the upside, then we're effectively, I was very confident when I said it, to be fair, we're going to be bleeding into this daily liquidity pool, which effectively we've done. But it's only just tapped it a little bit of a bounce from there, small little pullback. So two things: we could be creating this kind of crappy shitty sideways range now within the 60s, which we've been here before, okay, or we kind of grind a little bit lower, start to bleed a little bit deeper into this daily liquidity pool. Now we do have the London AMA, which is going to be coming very soon, so we need to be watching price very closely for runs before the AMA, static price action before the AMA, you know, price moving lower before the AMA, which is rare, but if price starts to run lower before the AMA, that's a very good thing. At least it will be for me personally, because I know, you know, that's always the way that this is set up, it's a good thing, you know, if it starts to bleed lower while the AMA is still upcoming. Okay, but then we also have the, you know, and we've seen this before, where price runs and runs and runs before the AMA. If you remember the last AMA, I was saying we don't really want to be seeing price running first, and then we got that, you know, reversal. And the same kind of the same applies to this one. We don't really want to be seeing price kind of going up now, and I mean substantially. So let's say it starts to run, and it's hovering around 1 to 110 before the AMA. We might get that final pop during the AMA, but then it's unlikely we're going to continue. Just the better scenario is that price just stabilizes, people are patient, you know, we stay below the 80s, for example, and then when the AMA is released and we get some solid information, everybody kind of knows where they stand, you know, then price just takes, you know, a nice bump from there. That would be better, yeah. But as it stands right now, there's not really much to discuss. There's not really much to talk about. You know, things seem quite lethargic. The range opened up a little bit here as it went into that weekly, you know, liquidity pool. You can see it was quite tight here on the 4-hour, tight, and then it drops into the weekly liquidity pool, and then the range has started to open up a little bit as it's picking up and accumulating, distributing within this, you know, sort of 10 cents range. What does that mean? Effectively, it means that it's scooping up liquidity. Yeah, this isn't an offload of liquidity, because whatever it picked up here, it got rid of that as it came into this liquidity pool, and the overall accumulation of CHSB, if you look at the weekly chart, is still to the upside. You can see that clearly. We had a bang, all this nonsense, sideways, really nice pop, pull back, and it's accumulating. Yeah, it's not easy to explain, but CHSB is being accumulated. Yeah, so. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so as it stands, weekly candle looks good. We've dipped into this weekly liquidity pool. What we really want to see now is this candle reversed, price back above the sort of 70s, hovering around 70s to 80s. I know everybody wants to see it go. I'm telling you from experience, we don't. You know, before the AMA, better to just stick around the 70s to 80s, and then just, you know, off it goes. And there's multiple scenarios during the AMA. Price could drop. and reverse snap back and off it goes. That's a great scenario. Not nice for people while you're sitting in it, but it's a great scenario. Or we could just see during the AMA, and these scenarios are all based on the idea of staying between 70 and 80. During the AMA, it just starts to ramp up quite nicely and then pop. Another great scenario, or one scenario would be that price kind of just doesn't really do much, and then starts to really sort of bleed and ramp up to the downside. That's the worst scenario. We don't want to see that. Okay, and there's quite a few others, but they're the three main ones that I'm kind of being sort of attentive to and focused on. Upside liquidity, there's nothing, until we get into the 140s, which we've already said so many times. So as it stands now, we want to see the $1 and above hold, and then the magic number, which we all know what the magic number is, so I'm not going to go into that now. And that's about it, guys. Is there anything else? I did say that I was going to do bats, so let me take a look. I actually went through this, didn't I? Yeah, I did go through this in the live analysis during the Smart Talks, so I will leave this one for now. Don't really want to be going over this again. Yeah. Oh, and just as a quick reminder to anybody that thinks they're going to catch me out during the Smart Talk with Dodge or Dogecoin, don't even try it, man. If somebody calls me out and asks me to do live analysis during the Smart Talk, I'm going to punch my screen. So we'll see what happens, man. That coin, it just irritates the hell out of me. But in the spirit of love for the community, if it comes up, then obviously I'll do the analysis, but I'm not going to put it in my list just yet. All right, we'll leave it at that. So yeah, guys, I hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend, and I will catch up with you guys in the next update. Take care, and I will speak to you soon. Ciao for now.